Joining us on today's last edition for the week, Prime Flash on My Media Prime Television. The governor of the Northwest region, Lily Lafrique, has paid a condolence visit to the bereaved families of the penitentiary officials killed in Buea division by alleged separatist fighters and has announced a military operation to fish out the perpetrators of the act. A press release signed on April 13 by the Communication Minister Emmanuel Sadi, the government has equally reacted to the assassination of the penitentiary officers.
Following the terrorist attack on Tuesday, April 12 in Kumbo and Kambe, which cost the life of the Northwest Regional Delegate for Penitentiary and 3 of his collaborators, the President of the Republic, Paul Biya, has addressed his condolences to families of the victims and ordered for investigations to be opened to bring perpetrators to book. In a press release from its spokesperson, government condemned what it terms the cowardly assassination of the regional delegate of the Northwest Penitentiary and 3 of his other collaborators. According to Emmanuel Sadi, the cowardly and barbaric act perpetrated by lawless criminals would not go unpunished. It is for this reason that the President of the Republic ordered for the opening of investigations in order to shed full light on the exact circumstances of the attack. It should be reminded that Mr. Kiga Theodore was killed on his way back from Kambe, where he had attended the installation of the Kambe prison superintendent. However, before this umpteenth attack, several authorities, including the mayor and the divisional officer of Ekondo Titi, were recently assassinated in the southwest region. Defense and security forces are mobilized to lay hands on the perpetrators of this attack.
The land in Kribi, which had been sold in 2019, is now the subject of a lawsuit. Some inhabitants and traders of a neighborhood called Ancient Admiral woke up yesterday morning to see their houses being demolished by machines, while some tenants have declared that they have never received any notification of a change of contract. Others say they were not given enough time by the mayor of Kribi. Meanwhile, all attempts to obtain the official version of the story from the mouth of the city mayor was in vain. While butchers and meat vendors in Buea in the east region of Cameroon now have a clean and appropriate site to expose their merchandise, a newly built market worth 38 million francs CFA, butcheries in Yaounde have emptied up after an unprecedented strike action from butchers. They say the continuous rise in the price of beef is gradually taking them out of the market and that the government needs to react fast to remedy the situation. After being prohibited by the divisional officer of Yaounde 3 from holding their General Assembly meeting, some Cameroonian artists from the 10 regions of the country have expressed their dissatisfaction to the Ministry of Defense yesterday. Law enforcement officers were at the site to dissolve the crowd. A landslide at a mining site in Belekubu, a village in the east region of the country, has killed at least 4 persons. There were 7 in number. The men who are said to have sneaked into the mining site on April 12, breaking Wednesday, April 13, with 4 losing their lives. Though the rest of the 3 managed to escape, they are reported to have sustained injuries and currently receiving treatment at the Baturi District Hospital. Cameroon's Minister of Finance, Louis-Paul Motaze, has officially inaugurated a new cargo scanner at the Douala Port Authority. The scanner will facilitate the exportation of goods, as Mwanze tells us.
A 4th cargo scanner has been installed at the Port Authority of Douala. This occasion was chaired by the Minister of Finance, Louis-Paul Motaze, alongside the Minister of Communications, Emmanuel Sadi, and other dignitaries. This machine will aid in securing external trade transactions and optimize custom revenue.
To reduce fiscal examination of goods that come in or that leave in the country. Because, it takes us about 6-7 hours to inspect a single container. And if you have to inspect, say, say 20% of the 400 containers.
Is the first to be installed out of the container terminal of the port, will be used in exportation and comes in to reinforce and keep in check goods meant for exportation and external trade. It will equally determine as to whether a container will need physical examination or not, and will facilitate the identification of harmful equipment into the country.
Our new role, we have to come in within those circles. We also can identify dangerous goods that can come into the country via this facility.
According to the Director General of Customs, Edwin Fongod, the machine has a 85 to 95% success rate, and 360 persons receive training on optical character reading.
The tomato processing company of the known by the French acronym nsah, has been totally abandoned despite multiple pleas from the inhabitants or initiators for its revival. Eileen Sama tells us more about this.
This is CAN, the food processing company in Fumban, known division of the West region of Cameroon. The company, which occupies at least 3 hectares of land, was created in 1996 to relieve tomato farmers of the abundance of the production of the vegetable, which always ends up perishing due to the lack of processing companies like SCAN. However, it was shut down and abandoned barely 3 years later, in 1999.
La SCAN a été fermée en 1999 par Madame Bilibi.
SCAN was shut down in 1999 by Madame Bilibi Estelle, sent to SNE to manage the company, and she found the SCAN documents on her table abandoned, and she realized that it was a risky venture as Coprovidnon was in charge of the project. So they changed the initiative because Coprovidnon was supposed to come up with what was going to transform this company. They used the funds for something else because it was supposed to be an agro-industrial company and not an industrial agro company. So they shut down the company due to these complications, as there was an issue of insecurity with Ghostan back then and salaries were not passing.
On a fermé parce qu'en cette période-là, c'était la période des villes mortes. Alors, il y avait un problème d'arriéré de salaire.
Thus, after 3 months of evaluation under the supervision of Coprovidnon, the Director General of SNI, at the instructions of the Minister of Agriculture, approved the project at the tune of 900 million francs CFA. However, 459 million francs CFA was disbursed to start the project 43 days after the project was launched. The CEO of Coprovidnon, Mr. Dahiru, further explained that Coprovidnon called on all members of the department involved in the project who chipped in 214 million francs CFA plus the 27 million francs CFA that Coprovidnon injected into the coffers, as well as others. He spelled it out.
La Coprovidnon a interpellé tous les membres du département qui ont cotisé 214 millions de francs, plus les 27 millions que Coprovidnon a aussi injectés dans la cagnotte. La Kaplanoun a injecté 120 millions de francs CFA. Le CAO a injecté 90 millions de francs CFA. Jimouche Mozi a injecté 10 millions de francs CFA. La société Sotri a injecté 10 millions de francs CFA. Maintenant, il y a eu un poste de trio, ceux qui avaient la moyenne de 5 millions de francs.
Nonetheless, the over 459 million francs CFA from the above-mentioned sources added to 449 million from SNE, now summed up to 900 million francs CFA, and it has been over 30 years and nothing has been done in terms of serious action. The authorities of Coprovidnon are now asking the government to reactivate this money into the system that has not been used for over 30 years. Till date, nothing has been done despite many petitions sent to the ministries by Coprovidnon.
In health, prenatal care has been proven to be primordial for the well-being of the mother and child, but some pregnant women fail to respect their rendezvous, usually resulting to an inevitable increase in child mortality. Mirel Ngaku tells us more.
A recent survey in Cameroon has revealed that out of 200 pregnant women, more than 100 take their first antenatal visits after the due date. This state of things inevitably do affect infant mortality in Cameroon. The most affected regions remain the northern part of Cameroon. Doctors highly recommend antenatal appointment.
Les visites prénatales sont très importantes pour les femmes enceintes.
Prenatal care is important for pregnant women, and I would even go further to say they are important for women even prior to the pregnancy stage. A woman should go through antenatal care because it is necessary for her to take vitamin B9, which is important before the pregnancy.
Avant qu'elle ne tombe enceinte.
The main cause behind this is the absence of finance for most, while others indicate a long distance between the hospital and their homes. However, in spite of these factors, the importance of a medical consultation during pregnancy cannot be ignored.
Pourquoi est-ce qu'il faut faire des visites? Alors tout simplement, premièrement, parce qu'il faut détecter ce qu'on appelle des grossesses à risque.
It is important because it permits the doctors to detect any complications on the part of the mother and of the child, or even any complications that could threaten the lives of the mother and the child. They also help to protect the child if the mom has a problem or an infection, like AIDS or any other infection. It permits us to take the necessary measures so that the child will not be affected.
Toutes les mesures nécessaires pour que l'enfant ne soit pas atteint.
In the suburbs, women nearly never undertake prenatal care, and the outcomes vary between low weight at birth, prenatal and child mortality, premature pregnancies, amongst others. Nevertheless, doctors recommend booking first appointment at the dawn of the pregnancy, this in a bid to preserve the life of the mother and her child.
We have come to the end of today's edition of Prime Flash, produced by Junior Pelama. Thanks for watching. Stay glued for more programs on My Media Prime Television.